Hello and welcome back to the JLD podcast with myself, Daniel Peacock. I sit on the executive committee of the Junior Lawyers Division and I am a dispute resolution solicitor at Hewitt Solicitors. This month we are joined by none other than the Law Society Council member, Bal Atwal. Welcome, Bal.
Thanks, Daniel. Pleasure to be on, and thank you for having me.
No, very good. How was as we're currently recording this now, we've been enjoying quite a lot of nice weather. I mean, how have you filled the time outside of office hours?
Oh, I've been out enjoying the sunshine with my new dog. We've been out for walks, been reading, just soaking up the sunshine any way we can.
Oh, excellent. What's the name of your dog?
He's Duke.
Oh, nice. I like that. That's what kind of dog? I know that before this digresses into a podcast on Bal's dog, which I'm sure listeners will be very interested in any event. What type is it?
So he's a border collie, and he's a very fast-growing pup.
Wow. Okay, that'll be sleepless nights for the foreseeable.
Absolutely, absolutely.
So, in terms of this podcast, so this is being brought to you through the power of the Tinterweb, and I'm up north, up in Darlington as we speak. And Bal, I believe you're down in Birmingham, aren't you?
That's right, yeah.
So let's start. So straight off the bat, as this is an extension of the long-awaited return of the Junior Lawyers Division podcast, and carrying on from last month's resurgence episode with Manda, and go and listen to that if anybody hasn't done so already. What I'm going to do, Bal, is offer you a few names for the premiere of this episode. It's a little starter, a little teaser for the intro. So the first one that I've got is JLD podcast Return of the Jedi featuring Bal Atwal, so you can muse upon that for a little while. Number 2, we've got the JLD podcast Casino Royale. That's just one of my favourite films that I've slotted in there. Number 3, we've got JLD podcast 4.0 Die Harder featuring Bal Atwal. And then number 4, a slightly more serious and more fitting title is the JLD podcast Faster and More Furious I'll start that again. The JLD podcast Faster and More Furious with Bal Atwal, open brackets, Judgment Day, close brackets. Have you got any preferences on any of those?
Oh, there's some very, very strong things there. Unfortunately, I don't have a favourite film out of all 4 of them. I'm a massive Lord of the Rings fan, so I'm disappointed there's no Lord of the Rings themed names there. Ooh, but if I have to choose from the 4, I'd say I'd go for the last one.
The Faster and More Furious. It's quite a tongue teaser. Faster and More Furious with Bal Atwal, Judgment Day. Yeah, great film. Love that one. Okay then, Bal. So in terms of an introduction to yourself, so who are you? Where are you from? A little bit like a blind date episode. Who are you? Where are you from? And what role are you currently in?
Absolutely. So my name's Bal. I'm an in-house solicitor at West Midlands Police. West Midlands Police, for anyone that doesn't know, is the second largest police force in the country. So it's quite a large geographical area. It's an organisation with over 10,000 employees. My role within the force is to deal with commercial property and commercial law. I'm from Birmingham originally. I came from private practice, so I trained at Trowers and Hamlins, a mid-sized international law firm. I qualified at DLA Piper, and then I made the move in-house to public sector and in-house life.
Excellent, and that's one thing that I know we've spoken in the past about this, Bal. That's one thing that people don't really associate, do they? Say, if you're working house of police now, what does that involve?
Absolutely, and yeah, this is something that I've always been asked, whether online or in person at events. And so my role is kind of split between 2 main areas. So one being commercial property, and that's what I qualified into, and is very much my bread and butter. So that deals with leases, licenses, easements, wayleaves of any kind of police property. And like I said, West Mids Police is the second largest police force in the country, so we've got quite a large property portfolio. So that's one kind of element of my role. And then the other element is quite wide. Being an in-house solicitor, you get to deal with so many different areas. And one kind of area of specialism that I deal with now is commercial law. Mm-hmm. And that can range from a number of things, including confidentiality agreements between the force and individuals or organisations, collaboration agreements between different police forces and local councils, anything basically contractual. So in Birmingham, we have the Commonwealth Games this summer. So basically all the contractual work behind that, whether it's funding agreements, whether it's strategic sites for police officers to be briefed or fed, consultancy agreements for us bringing in experts. So there's a whole wide range of work. And on top of that, kind of media agreements as well. So in terms of the stuff that you might see on the television, that's kind of an area of work that I deal with as well. So a very broad remit of work, and I guess that's kind of the beauty of in-house. And I think, it's something that's really opened my eyes and my mind to in terms of a career going forward. I think private practice is amazing in terms of giving you the skills and abilities in one area or field, but kind of in-house does really open your eyes to so many different elements of your legal career.
Yeah, no, I totally agree with that, and that's probably a nice little segue into your training. So in terms of how long you've been qualified, Bal, how long is that?
So we're coming up toward the end of the year, would be 4, so I'd say about 3.5 now.
Right, okay. And in terms of your experience from your training provider, how did you feel that? Like you say, private practice, it gives you a great grounding for learning all that knowledge and building on that. How did you find yours?
Oh, absolutely. So I had a traditional training contract from Trowers and Hamlins, split into 4 6-month seats. And yeah, it was a very strong training contract, mid-sized international law firm. I trained at the Birmingham office, which was a growing regional office. So there were tons of opportunities in terms of work, in terms of BD. So I think it was a fantastic training period for me. And yeah, I think having the opportunity to train at a larger organisation just opens the doors in terms of events, in terms of strong resources, whether it's research or black letter law or experts in different fields. So I think, yeah, an absolutely amazing training contract. And again, same with DLA Piper. I spent 1.5 years there, and again, soaked up all the kind of knowledge and expertise that a large private practice organisation can give. So yeah, I would definitely recommend the private practice law firms, but then on the other hand, I also do recommend having a career in-house if you do get the opportunity as well.
Yeah, I suppose you've got the best of both worlds, really, haven't you? Having had both experiences from the private practice and also in-house. Some other experiences that you've gained yourself, and we'll touch more in terms of tips for networking further on in the episode. You do a lot of work with the Birmingham Solicitors Group.
Absolutely, yeah. So that's one of my key organisations. So the Birmingham Solicitors Group is actually an official JLD group in Birmingham, and is an organisation which I co-chair. When I was an NQ, I joined them as the PR officer, so I was very much in control of all their social media accounts. From memory, I think I created their first kind of Instagram and LinkedIn, and now, going on 3 years ahead, we've got a thriving LinkedIn, Instagram, Twitter. So yeah, that's a cheeky plug to follow us. So yeah, it's a fantastic junior lawyers division group. It's a positive, thriving community for all junior lawyers. Despite the name, it is open to all junior lawyers, not just solicitors. And it's just been a fantastic way to network with the legal community, understanding what life's like in other firms, different areas of law. And more than anything, it's just a positive community, and it's just fantastic to be part of that, where you can kind of share experiences with other people, other peers across the city, and it has grown from strength to strength, and I'm super looking forward to how big it can be.
Absolutely, I think that's a very key point as well. I think you've done very, very well. You say your first role there was the PR officer. I mean, that is a fantastic way to get out there and network and get to know everybody, is by doing the PR. Certainly in today's age, I would have said with social media, with TikTok. One thing you didn't mention there was TikTok. Are you looking at setting up a TikTok anytime soon, or is that something for further down the line?
We actually do have a TikTok.
Oh, wow.
And one of my fantastic colleague Sheena has actually created a TikTok. So if you do check TikTok and search for Birmingham Sisters Group or BSG_events, we should be on there. I'm not personally on there yet, but it is something that I would add to my repertoire.
Yeah, it's something that gets said quite a lot. There's so many different types of social media now. I don't know about yourself, but when I was growing up through university, there was pretty much Instagram, Facebook. I'm relatively new to a professional Twitter, should I say? That's one that I'm really trying to push at the moment. And again, LinkedIn. I didn't start LinkedIn, I don't think, until I was probably in my last year or maybe first year after university. I think that's really massive in trying to promote yourself and promoting others in the groups that you've done very, very well. I do know that the BSG are very, very active on LinkedIn. There's lots of events that are coming up. Depending on when this episode actually gets released, you will have either started talking for a few events there. What's the most recent one, or the one that will be next, Bal, in terms of what you'll be speaking at?
So in terms of an upcoming event, so the BSG are working in the background in terms of our next social. That will most likely be a standalone social in Birmingham City Centre. And that will be coming off the back of a super successful event that we held in collaboration with TAG Network, which is a multi-sector organisation. And that's an organisation that I sit on their young professional board on. And we held a very successful social where we kind of connected junior lawyers with other professionals. And I think that's super important for any kind of lawyer to network with other professionals. It gives you an insight to different professions, sectors, backgrounds, and just different ways of working. I think lawyers are just exposed to people in the same organisation, same department, same areas of law. We forget about all the different kind of qualities and skills that you need to flourish in different areas. We're coming off the back of a very successful event with TAG. We are going to do a standalone social in the next month or two, and I will be speaking at an event at the end of this month. I'll be talking all about how to make an impact.
That sounds excellent. And for anybody who's not seen that I'm currently on LinkedIn on one of the screens that I've got to the side here, and there's a brilliant picture of Bal with a phenomenal beard, and that will become more important further on in the episode, because there are some true or false questions involving beards. I thought we had to get that relationship in there at some point. So in relation to your role on the Law Society Council, now, I think it's important to say, I mean, what is the Law Society Council, and how did you get elected?
Definitely. So I think a good starting block is to explain what the Law Society is. And I think for anyone that doesn't know what the Law Society is, it's the independent voice and body for solicitors. It does a number of things, including holding events, training, accreditations, lobbying, you name it. So it's a massive organisation that does lots of different things. So the Law Society Council is an elected body of solicitors, and they essentially debate and discuss all of the main decisions by the Law Society. And I sit on the Law Society Council as an elected member for junior lawyers 0 to 6 years PQE. And just to give you kind of an idea, so that's basically anyone in England and Wales that's 0 to 6 years PQE. And from recent conversations I've had with the Law Society, that covers around 30,000 people.
Wow.
But there are 4 of us that represent junior lawyers, and that is a massive upgrade since previous times where I think there was only 1 junior lawyer representative. So we are making movements, and we are kind of putting across the different views and opinions that junior lawyers have to really shape the profession going forward.
Yeah, I think that's really, really important work that you're doing, Bal, and certainly hats off to all the other council members that are there. One thing I will say as well, I mean, how did you get involved with being elected with that? I've seen lots of promotions from the Law Society. I've seen lots of people saying, oh, well, it sounds really good, but I've just never done it. I mean, what was your kind of drive to go on and make that step?
Really good question. So for me, I had pretty much been involved with all my kind of local JLD groups. So as a trainee, I was part of the BTSS, which is the Birmingham Trainee Solicitor Society. As an NQ to currently, I'm leading the Birmingham Solicitors Group. And I think at the time that the Law Society Council roles were advertised, I thought to myself, what else can I do going forward and in the future? And I saw the Law Society Council as kind of the next step up from the regional stuff that I've been involved in. And then on top of that, ever since kind of studying law all the way until today, I've been exposed to many different lawyers from many different backgrounds, and I think I've got a good understanding of what's going well in the profession and what needs to be improved in the profession. And I guess having those experiences, both directly and indirectly, now in private practice and in-house, I think I've got quite a well-informed opinion and view as to what my constituents, which are junior lawyers, are. And I guess all those things motivate me and want me to go forward for positions like the Law Society Council and really make a difference, because I know a lot of people out there do need kind of support and help, whatever situation they're in, whether they're a student, whether they're a paralegal, whether they're a trainee, an NQ, a more senior lawyer, a career changer, you name it. And I guess that's my motivation to kind of make a difference there.
Yeah, I think that's a great point. I think you're doing fantastic work on the Law Society Council. Again, with another segue to add in there, myself and Bal have just released an article on what is the JLD and what is the Law Society Council, which will hopefully be up on LinkedIn within the next couple of weeks, if not when this podcast is released. So that's definitely one that's worth checking out. Another thing that I always get asked, Bal, is in terms of, well, how old do you have to be a junior lawyer? And I think there's a great distinction that needs to be made, and it is explained in the article that we've just written, but all young lawyers are junior lawyers, but not all junior lawyers are young. It's based on experience rather than age, isn't it?
Absolutely, yeah. Junior lawyer just means that you're junior in your career. There is no age restriction. You could be a trainee solicitor and be 20, 30, 40, 50, 60 even. I mean, there is no age restriction whatever, and people should not feel outlawed or the odd one out because they may perceive themselves older in terms of where they're working or the demographic of the profession that they think they're in. So junior lawyer does not mean you are age restricted.
Absolutely. I think we're going to touch on shortly in terms of some tips for junior lawyers in terms of networking. Again, there'll be another plug in there as well to other articles that you've done. Now I think it's time for the long-awaited return of the game of true or false. Now, previously, for anybody that's listening has tuned into the JLD podcast of the past, it sounds quite cynical, doesn't it? The old JLD podcasts, and they ran a fantastic game called True or False. So what I've done is I prepared a number of true or false questions for you, Bal, and I want you to tell me whether you think they're true or false, or they're myth. Myths is the kind of the middle ground where I just simply wasn't able to find whether it was true or false. But it certainly makes for good listening in any event. So the first one, I'll read a statement, then you can say whether it's true or false, and I will give you either a paragraph of true facts about that or not. So the first one is, during King Henry VIII's reign, there was an imposed beard tax that every man must pay to wear his facial hair.
Ooh, as a man with a beard, I know just how much upkeep there is for a beard. And I think back in those days, if you did have a long beard, maybe you were of, nobility or had a better job. So I'm going to say that's true.
Yeah, you've seen straight through that question, Bal. That's absolutely right. So in terms of designer beards and designer hipster beards, they're all the rage now. But in 1535, King Henry VIII made you pay for the luxury of having a beard. He introduced a beard tax that lined the pockets probably of his dinner table more than anything. And it was, you're quite right in that you mentioned that the higher your social standing, the more you had to pay for the beard. So then the beards became a bit of a status symbol in terms of money. I find that absolutely fascinating. Certainly the history behind that I think is incredible. One question, a follow-on question, I'd say, this isn't a true or false, in terms of bailiffs and stuff like that. If you didn't pay, what would happen then? How does a bailiff gain possession of a beard?
Wow, I don't want to imagine what they did to us after that, but it wouldn't be good.
This is the in-house knowledge that we need, isn't it? This is the big questions that are being asked. And another follow-up is, when does a beard stop becoming a beard?
Absolutely. When did it just become a continuation of hair? When did it just become hair? I mean, who knows?
Just endless philosophical questions. So on that, the tax actually didn't last long, but resurfaced with Elizabeth I, who reportedly imposed a similar levy on those with over 2 weeks of growth. I don't know about you, Bal, so I have a beard as well. We bonded somewhat through our beards. In terms of two weeks of growth, I get mine cut probably every 2 weeks is the maximum. I think that would be quite hard to judge in terms of the amount of growth for 2 weeks.
Yeah, that'd be unfair to some, wouldn't it?
yeah. It's one thing that I've never struggled with following my 21st birthday. Other areas, absolutely loads, but that's one thing that doesn't. Okay, so far, you're 1 for 1. I mean, how are you feeling? The nerves getting to you, or?
Oh, there are some nerves, but I think the beard question has just calmed more now.
Well, this next one is a question that no law student should ask, and I'm sure you've been asked this at networking events previously. I mean, do you have a favourite act?
Favourite act? Do you mean in terms of comedy, or do you mean in terms of legislation?
Oh no, it's much more boring than that. Yeah, it's in terms of legislation, and the reason that I say that. So this next one is the Salmon Act 1986 says, or does it say, says the following: you will be punished for, and I quote, handling salmon or fish in suspicious circumstances. Is that true or false?
Ooh, as someone that has enjoyed salmon in the past and seen the price of it on the menu,
ridiculous now, isn't it? Yeah, it's
absolutely. I mean, back in the day, who knows what the price could have been. So I'm going to go with true on that.
It's another good one, and I think it's 2 for 2. So in order to regulate fisheries and avoid illegal fishing and shady trading deals and poaching, and what I've done in my notes is I've put a brackets of insert laughter for poaching, because I thought that was a good pun. The Salmon Act was created in 1986, so Section 32 of the Act, aptly titled Handling Salmon in Suspicious Circumstances, aims to punish anybody receiving or disposing of salmon in an illegal manner, and in recent years the clause has extended to other freshwater fish such as trout, eels and lampreys. I mean, fascinating stuff, isn't it? I mean, you're 2 from 2. Nerves are all gone now. You're winning. In terms of the final question, now this might be a little bit of a curveball. Now, I don't know in terms of your experience with the seats that you did in private practice. Did you ever do any debt recovery or litigation?
I did do litigation. I did construction litigation and commercial litigation. Right.
Okay. Well, this one should be easy, very, very easy. In terms of personal debt. Is debt written off when you die?
I'm going to go with false.
Yeah, you've seen straight through that one. I've set you up to try and make you trip up, but you're absolutely right. So in January 2020, it was recorded on certain websites that the average UK debt per adult was £31,600. I mean, that's phenomenal. I can only imagine that the next couple of years figures will be a lot higher with the increase in electricity, etc. Now, not all debt is obviously horrid. There's good debt, there's bad debt. Good debt such as student loans, mortgages, stuff like that, and bad debt such as buying items that you don't need with high interest credit cards. So in terms of the myth, you have officially debunked that, and when you die, debt is not written off, and any assets that you had before your death, including properties, house, valuables, jewellery, beard oil, etc., will all be used to pay off the debt that you've had. I mean, how are you feeling after that? That's 3 from 3. It took me a long time to try and decipher all those questions and put them down, and you've passed with flying colours.
I can only apologise, mate.
A bit of an insider trading here, I think, from there. another question. It's not a true or false question. Just a simple question is, what's some of the questions that you get asked from your friends the most? And I'll start you off with one that I get asked quite often. Is, I've got a speeding ticket. Can you get me out of it? I mean, have you got any other stories like that?
Oh, absolutely. I think that question surfaced as soon as I started studying law. And when you're a student, you don't really know how to approach that question, to be honest, because you're just worrying about your lectures and your seminars. I'm trying to think, because I work for a police force now, I guess there's lots of immediate questions about criminal law. But then I have to tell people what I actually, practice in, and then they're like, oh, okay. And then they decide to still talk about different police criminal matters. So I guess, it's mainly the intrigue about working for the police and not doing criminal law. But then again, at the same time, it kind of allows me to kind of research into kind of how the police operate or work. Because, it's just such a massive organisation, and it's not necessarily replicated in the private practice world in the sense of a private company. So, even though I do get some interesting questions, I always flip it and turn it into almost a mini research task for me to find out.
The classic question of, Bal's a lawyer, he will surely know about this niche area of criminal law off the top of his head because he works in the police. I can see how that gets boring quite quickly. So on that topic of tips for junior lawyers entering the profession. Now, recently you've written, I think it was January when it was released, wasn't it, in the Law Gazette? You've written an article on the power of networking. Now, I mean, why is networking so important?
A massive, massive question, and something that is super, super important, especially because of the modern day that we live in. We're so kind of connected in terms of technology, social media, you name it. And I think that is probably more difficult now to kind of meet people face to face. So social media is massive in terms of that networking piece. But I think networking generally just gives you so many skills and abilities which your day job just can't give you. And I mean, on perfect example, I've worked at literally one of the largest law firms in the world. They can give you a lot of opportunities, but to really kind of excel and get to that next level, you do need to expose yourself to different external organizations and kind of put yourself in different environments. And, that's exactly what networking does. And it's such an important skill, just not just for your professional life, but your personal life as well. Just the ability to kind of have a conversation to someone and get that conversation flowing. It's super, super important. It develops skills like confidence, communication, self-esteem, you name it. And to think back to kind of who I was before kind of getting into the world of networking, so before, starting my professional life, I was very much, someone that couldn't hold a conversation with someone I didn't know. I definitely couldn't, organise and run events. I could never really speak in front of a large group of people. But, networking provides those opportunities, and people always forget the kind of indirect skills and abilities you get from that. They may not be apparent, but once you get more and more immersed into the world of societies, committees, boards and stuff, you start acquiring those skills straight away. So absolutely invaluable, and something you do need to embark on yourself, because, your employer can only give you so much.
Yeah, no, I love that. I think it's we've all been there at networking events where there's certain people who are doing the hard sell, and they come over to you, they give their spiel 5 minutes and then move on. I think you raise a very, very good point in terms of networking isn't networking in the sense of a formal thing. It's the ability to talk to different people, talk to different people from different backgrounds in different professions, and go from there. Now, I think that's very good. In terms of any tips for junior lawyers, let's say for paralegals, for trainees, for newly qualified solicitors, what would you recommend that they do to try and get into networking?
Absolutely. So I think the first one, I think that's a cheeky plug for the JLD, but is to search out your local JLD group. There'll be tons of people just like you and people that are probably below you in terms of the career ladder, people that are above you in terms of the career ladder. So it's a fantastic space to be in, and just, be amongst your peers and touch base on all the kind of successes and woes in your career. So your local JLD is a fantastic one. Social media is another fantastic one as well. If you post content, if you interact with content, you'll be exposed to people that are in the same region as you, in the same sector, profession as you. So utilizing social media. And then I think lastly is just don't be afraid to kind of fail or get things wrong. I still remember some of my first networking events and just not knowing how to interact, or just feeling quite nervous just speaking to people. But at the end of the day, whatever we kind of embark on in life, the first step is difficult. But, as long as we've done it and tried it, we can never really know how good we are at something. So just don't be afraid to fail, and don't be afraid to just crack on and do it.
I love that. I think what I'm going to do is get a load of T-shirts printed, Bal, with that quote and your face on there. I'm going to make a late addition to the title of the podcast of Bal Atwal. Don't be afraid. How are we feeling about that?
Ooh, I like that, but it almost feels like a bit of a horror movie spin-off.
Yeah, a little bit sinister. Yeah, you're right. It's intriguing though. I think people would listen. I think it's one of those that you'd think, oh well, maybe I'll listen in next week. Excellent, Bal. I think everything that we've said there has been fantastic to have you on and learn more about what the Law Society Council do, how to get involved, and your past and what you're currently doing in your career. I think you're doing some really, really good stuff. You've been nominated for a number of awards. I have a list of the awards, but unfortunately my screen is only so big that I will only highlight some of the highlights of the awards that you've been nominated for recently. So previously you have won the Future Face of Legal Awards 2021, and also the Young Business Person of the Year 2022. What's the plans for next year? 2023 is going to be a big year for you.
Oh, who knows? I'm just enjoying the journey at the moment, especially work with BSG, TAG, the Law Society, and my obviously in-house life as well. So I'm just looking to see, how far we can progress that and just make a difference to the people around me.
Oh, I love that. Yeah. Is there a Celebrity Big Brother? Is that on the list?
Definitely not with a role with the police.
Yeah, that could be an issue. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
We shall see.
Excellent. Thanks for coming along, Bal. That's been excellent and great to have you involved.
Thank you so much, Daniel. Appreciate all the conversations we've had, and appreciate you having me on today.
No, excellent. And for anybody who is wanting to follow Bal on LinkedIn and Instagram, so in terms of your Twitter, the Bal Atwal, I believe. That's right, yeah. Twitter, LinkedIn, and Instagram. So yeah, feel free to connect with me. Drop me a message as well if you like. I'm not someone that shies away from the odd message here and there. So yeah, feel free to connect. Smashing. Thanks, Bal.